All right, YouTube, you may have seen that the cultural Marxist Pope of the Catholics compared the creating of fake news to coprophilia. That is like, I guess, a poop fetish. It's very funny to hear supposedly this great holy man speaking in these terms. And those who absorb the same as coprophagists, that is, people who eat poop. The reactions to this ranged from, oh, yes, of course, well, no, good Pope, solid head on his shoulders, to what the fuck is this dude smoking? I'm somewhere towards the latter part of that spectrum myself. I have no idea what he's talking about, what he seems to be doing, because he's the social media Pope, is sort of covering for his fellow corporations and banks, because that's really what the Vatican is, isn't it? The Vatican's little more than a bank itself. It's a little microstate for probably laundering money. It owns businesses all across the world. It owned, at one point, a gay bathhouse. I don't think they still own that. They own the publisher that actually produces the Satanic Bible, or did at one time. It's come on, the Vatican is a pile of poop itself. And for the Pope to come out and say, oh, fake news bad. Well, yeah, fake news can confuse a lot of people, but you're missing the point. Most of the fake news that comes out in this world is coming from mainstream outlets that fawn and adore the Pope, that give him interviews and talk about how wonderful and soft-spoken and holy he is. Now, this Pope, when he first emerged on the scene years ago, indeed was a welcome change from the past of the Catholic Church. That is, he came out, he had more humility. He came from a more working class background. He has one functioning lung, I believe, and so people could respect him for that. He seemed to be more outgoing than certainly Ratzinger, the Hitler Youth Pope. That being said, he's quickly devolved into little more than a politicized mouthpiece. Now, for the Vatican to be weighing in on anything that goes on within the United States, all American citizens should shun whatever he's saying. He is a theocrat. He is the leader of a theocratic movement, of a monarchist city-state. Theocratic monarchy, that is, with him essentially standing in as God's representative on earth. This country, if you're to the left of the spectrum, I would assume you would agree, is a secular nation. We're not supposed to take any token from organized religion in the policies we use for governance. If that's the case, why is it that so many of the people claiming to be on the left suddenly adore and fawn over and want to adopt everything the Pope says, as though his word holds any sway over our country at all? This is a foreign state. Meanwhile, while all of the people at MSNBC or CNN are very, very worried that the Russians would influence our political system, you have them adulating this other individual who is foreign, who is the head of a foreign state, one that's probably worth far more than all of Russia together, honestly, if you count all of the Vatican's various endeavors around the world, all of their secret gold plunder that they probably store in Switzerland, their connections to the mafia and so forth. No problem with the mafia, but that's what's involved with the Vatican, let's face it. They're pretending that foreign message, oh yeah, we should listen to that. It's like these same people, I get a kick out of this. I wonder if anyone else has noticed this. The same people that are complaining right now about the possibility, however vague and unevidenced it may be, that Vladimir Putin had any sort of opinion about the American election at all, let alone any rigging involved or anything like that, like the CIA is wrongfully, and I do say almost certainly wrongfully alluding to. The same people that have a problem with that have consistently said for the last few years, we need to adopt European gun policies, we need to adopt Vatican-style social policies, with the exception of how the Pope sees homosexuals and abortion, of course. They weren't saying that back when Ratzinger was the Pope. Now all of a sudden, oh, God had a change of heart. God changed his mind. Before condoms were evil, now they're okay if you got like HIV or something like that. Before being gay was automatic hellfire, now it's, oh, who am I to judge? The Bible says it's wrong, but I'm not the Bible, so I'm going to take a hands-off approach. Very funny how the Catholic God changes his mind constantly anyway. Even Catholics have noticed this. I think Dennis Leary spoke about this in one of his stand-up tours. It's like God changes his mind all the time, and then the Catholic Church, your rank is judged by the size of your hat. Yeah, that hasn't escaped notice for a lot of people around the world. There's a reason why Catholicism isn't exactly the fastest growing movement on the face of the earth. I had one person on ICQ for years used to spam the same crap about Catholicism every day, literally for years. Oh, the gates of the fire of hell will never prevail against the gates of the one holy apostolic Catholic Church. And then there was somebody there who, almost like sort of a rosary and response thing, would say, "God damn and curse the bloody bastard Catholic Church." He was like a total Protestant, really hated Catholicism. It was very funny because they would literally egg one another on. Night after night after night, they'd say the same things. And this is sort of what Christianity boils down to in most cases at this point. It's why I don't respect Christianity largely. For the Pope to weigh in on this, he says, oh, fake news is bad. Okay, well, then go after all the fake news, not just the underground sites that are competing with the media groups you yourself probably fund directly or indirectly. The Vatican has thousands of business assets around the world. Banking assets, corporate assets, investments, physical buildings, physical structures for rent, for own. It has all sorts of stuff around the world. It is a theocratic microstate with a disproportionate amount of wealth. Tens of billions of dollars worth of wealth directly, probably trillions of dollars indirectly. Do you not think that some of these business endeavors, tied in with Catholicism in one way or another through the Vatican, don't donate to political campaigns, don't donate to big media, don't co-opt big media? Fox has a priest that comes on from time to time just to ramble about political analysis. He doesn't know what he's talking about any more than the Pope does, or Karl Rove, or Rachel Maddow, or any of these others. Morning Joe, at this point, sadly enough, is probably the most sane man in punditry. It's rather funny to watch. He's the one person honest enough to admit that it was largely the legacy media's fault that everything got so screwy. By the way, Trump would have won regardless of their actions, but at the same time, they're the ones that fan the flame of all the problems we've seen since the election. I will give him that. The Pope is thinking an inordinate amount about the concept of eating feces. I'm slightly worried that this is an indicator of things that are around him on a regular basis. For a foreign theocrat to weigh in on U.S. policies seems to me to be evidence that Clinton is controlled by the Vatican, that her fans are controlled. I mean, I'm just going to use the same... It might be illogical, but I'm going to use the same reasoning that all the legacy media people constantly use with Trump and Putin. The fact that they don't want to tear each other's throats out immediately upon Trump being elected means that he's controlled by a bunch of communists or something. It's a little bit like Joe McCarthy on steroids, but whatever. I'll use that same reasoning. This is evidence that the Pope controls Hillary Clinton. The Vatican controls the Democratic Party. Oh no, it's Illuminati, New World Order. See, therein lies the problem. The legacy media, in its haste to spin everything that Trump is involved with, is somehow involving also Russia, Putin, evil-doing oligarch or something like that, don't seem to realize if you applied that same reasoning, the exact same reasoning, you don't have to make a logical stretch, you don't have to alter what you're saying. If you simply say Pope and Clinton instead of Putin and Trump, all of a sudden you become essentially an RCC, Masonic, Illuminati conspiracy theorist wearing a tinfoil hat by their own admission. Therein lies the problem with the claims the legacy media is really making. And a lot of people are ignoring it. It's gotten to the point where the mainstream media is peddling the kind of material that you would expect to see on InfoWars, while at the same time claiming InfoWars is fake news, it's evil propaganda, and probably co-opted by Russia. There's the problem. Does anybody else see that journalism within this country is fundamentally dead? These are corporations. The pundits, the analysts, the staff, they all get 6-7-figure salaries. They take money from corporations, banks, political movements, and so forth. We have WikiLeaks doling out some emails showing Steve Colbert, who was funny half a decade ago, taking his marching orders literally from the Clinton campaign. Not in a roundabout way, not in an indirect way, literally taking them from the Clinton campaign. Now, true, Steve Colbert is infotainment, much like Alex Jones. It's actually the same thing. It's just that the former is less funny. Alex Jones is actually hilarious at this point compared to some of these people, because you never know. He might flip out on air and start ripping off his shirt and pretending to go, full ninja mode or something like that. But Steve Colbert is directly in communication with the Clinton campaign. So, oh yeah, I'm going to talk about this, I'm going to talk about that, I'm going to have you on the show, and blah, blah, blah. And people don't find that slightly strange? People don't find it slightly strange that the legacy media is also in direct communication with political campaigns, while at the same time endorsing the theory for months. It didn't start lately. It was months ago that they dreamed this up, that Putin and Russia were involved with everything hampering the Clinton campaign. WikiLeaks is Russia. Trump is Russia. The GOP is controlled by Russia. Aspects of the media that don't constantly criticize everything Trump does, that's Russia too. Foreign, like with the Philippines, oh, that's Russia. The UK, like Brexit, Nigel Farage, that's Russia. My goodness, Russia has a hell of a lot of power in this world. You'd think they won the Cold War. You'd think the Iron Curtain never fell. You'd think it was us that degraded away into a core constituency, jettisoning all autonomous regions or something. Where's Puerto Rico? Oh, they gained independence back in the 1990s. Where's Hawaii? Oh, they rose up again. Where's Alaska? Oh, the Russians took it back because they're more powerful than us. That's the way these people are talking right now. And the Pope decides to join the chorus of idiots, and not only does he join that chorus, he then starts rambling about eating poop. This isn't intelligent conversation. This is stupidity. It's hyperbole that's beyond human endeavor. It's way, way beyond the realm of common sense. These people are making so many logical stretches in everything at this point that they say, that the fact that even the most deep asleep sheep can't see what they're doing is astonishing to me. It is so blatantly obvious. It's like the old adage, you tell a lie, you tell it larger, and more people will believe it. I guess that's actually true. I guess we're seeing that on full display, because right now, without a single named source, without a single actual piece of text that comes from the CIA, the entire legacy media has become fully convinced that indeed the government has direct and inarguable evidence that the Russians rigged our election in favor of Donald Trump, to the point at which some of these people now are so paranoid, and they're so dumb to be paranoid about this, that they actually are calling for halting the inauguration before an investigation can occur. Now, that's not going to happen. Any attempt to screw around with the settled election that we've had will result in civil war in this country. They know this. They're not going to push the issue. I think what they're trying to do is dirty the water to make Trump's presidency less effective. I think they're sort of hoping that the Obamas and Clintons right now, I think what their end goal is to shame enough Republicans into denouncing the Putinism sort of stuff that any aspect of populism will be too unpopular to be put through. I think that's what they're trying to do. They might be doing this because they honestly think it's the right thing to do, but they're wrong. They're completely and totally wrong. Then you have all of these distraction scandals like Antarctica. Oh, Buzz Aldrin was tweeting out this pyramid. I can't even find the archive tweet. I have to assume he's read At the Mountains of Madness recently, honestly. Just my personal feelings there. Oh, John Kerry went to Antarctica. Obviously, they found the mothership or some Nazi space base or something. Okay, that's totally not a distraction. It's totally not nutty stuff. Yeah, couldn't have anything to do with the fact that, a chunk of ice the size of Delaware is about to slough off into the ocean or anything like that. Possibly cause, it suddenly drops in there. I would think it would cause a bit of a wave at some locations, but again, that's just my opinion. The Pope's crazy. The Pope obviously really, really loves neoliberal policies, but it makes sense. Why wouldn't he? It allows the Vatican to continue its monopoly in some of these business endeavors. Allows them to continue the drug war. You think the mafia doesn't get money doing? You think it's just the cartels that make money off the drug war? Of course it's not. The CIA makes money off of it too. I wonder why they're weighing in on the election result, trying to denigrate the president-elect and his continuing policies. By the way, I'll be talking about his apparent choice for Secretary of State. Mediocre, like a 3, maybe a 2.5 out of 5. Better than Bolton, better than Romney. Kind of about the same as Giuliani. Nowhere near as good as like Jim Webb or Ron Paul or something, but tolerable. Give him a chance, regardless of whether he's ExxonMobil. I don't care. That's about all. Peace out.